right. Cindy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. Trying a new setup this week, so I want to make sure that it works out, and it looks like it is working. Do you know of any reason we can't begin, Cindy?
No, we have one applicant that has not signed on, but I've made a call and no answer. So it appears all of our members are on.
I don't see Miss Yavara. Maybe she's on a different screen.
She's in Prime Gov.
I don't see her here either.
Cindy, I'll give her a call.
Okay.
We'll wait a couple of minutes and then begin. All
I
right.
see her in Zoom.
Okay, perfect. We'll go ahead and get started. Welcome everyone to the City of Oklahoma City Board of Adjustment special video meeting for April 15th, 2021. If the meeting is disconnected at any time, the meeting will be stopped and reconvened once the connection is restored. If the connection is not able to be restored within 30 minutes, items remaining on consideration will be continued to the next regularly scheduled Board of Adjustment meeting. The agendas, documents, and meeting minutes, are located on okc.primegov.com/public/portal. For anyone wishing to speak today, hopefully you've previously notified staff by phone or email, and we will call on you at the appropriate time. When we call the case, I will recognize the applicant or representative to speak, and then I'll recognize any supporters and then protests, and then we will close with the applicant speaking. Public comment will then be closed unless specifically reopened by me or another board member. The board will deliberate and then vote. If you have not prearranged with city staff to speak on an item, I will regularly ask if anyone else would like to be heard on a matter. If you'd like to speak and have not previously signed up, please use the raise your hand function on Zoom while the matter is being considered. The board and staff will be notified if you raise your hand. Just note that if you've already prearranged with city staff to speak on an item, you should not need to use the raise your hand function unless for some reason you're not on one of our lists. For speakers other than the applicant, please limit your comments to 3 minutes. If you call in after your item has been heard, or if you have a different matter to raise with the board, you'll be allowed to speak under citizens to be heard. I ask that all participants keep their sound on mute until you're recognized to speak. If you are on a phone, press *6 to mute and unmute yourself. Board members will be allowed to ask questions or make comments at any time during the meeting. Please do not interrupt board members while they are speaking because we need a clear record and it makes the meetings go by faster. Before you begin with your comments, please identify yourself by stating your name and address. And this meeting is called to order. Ms. Lakin, can you call the roll?
Member Merchant.
Present.
Member Asbury.
Present.
Member Privet.
Present.
Member Voorhees.
Present.
Member Ybarra.
Present.
Okay, Chair, we have our quorum.
Okay, great. The next item on the agenda is to receive the minutes from the April 1st, 2021 meeting. Board members, do we have any changes or a motion?
A motion that we accept the minutes as received.
I'll second.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second to receive the minutes from the April 1st, 2021 meeting. Once you're able to, cast your votes. and the minutes are approved. Next item on the agenda is continuance requests or withdrawals. I didn't have any on the agenda, but I understand that one came in about an hour ago. Cindy or JJ?
Cindy.
This is David Box. I can address it. It was my request. It's item number 5, case number 14843. We were having some conversations with Public Works that we thought we had resolved that appear to have not been resolved. And so in an effort to ensure that we resolve those fully before a hearing, we request that this item be continued to May 6th. I do apologize for the late notice of this. This is not certainly how I typically do these, but circumstances being what they were, forced us into this last minute request.
So just so I can understand for my preparation purposes, is there still a dispute among any of the adjacent property owners? I know some people were concerned about the, I think it's Davis, ingress and egress.
So I read all of the protests. Well, you have two groups of protesters. The residential folks that are discussing Davis Road, and then you have a large industrial tract to our south that is discussing Melrose. Both Melrose and Davis, the portions that abut my client's property, are frankly not streets whatsoever, gravel and or just non-existent. We are going to improve both Davis and Melrose to city standards. Melrose will be the primary access point. If you read the protest letters carefully from the residential group, most of them seem to indicate to me that if Davis is a secondary access and not the primary access, their concerns are relieved. And that is the case. Our primary access will be off Melrose, not off Davis, but we do need a second point of ingress egress for fire purposes. The folks to the south had a concern about Melrose just being extended, which we will be extending Melrose past to a point at least past slightly our access point onto Melrose. So I've talked to Matt Collins, who is counsel for the people, the industrial tract to the south. I did have a conversation with an individual that lives, I believe, in close proximity or owns several investment properties of the Davis Avenue folks, and did tell him that our primary point of access will not be Davis, but Melrose. It's a very strange case that we can obviously get in the merits on May 6th, but this was zoned in a manner to allow exactly what we're asking for. There's no scenario in which Melrose will ever be classified as a minor arterial because it dies into the river as you go west. So the span of Melrose is so short from Council going to the west that there is just no manner in which it'll ever be classified as a minor arterial. However, when we are done improving Melrose, it will actually be improved in a manner greater than what you might expect a minor arterial to be improved to. So we actually think we're going to be exceeding what the intent of the code would be. But we have a few more issues that kind of popped up late that we need to resolve through Public Works.
Okay. I appreciate the context. And I did want to, if it's going to be continued, I did want to kind of understand the scope of what we're going to be hearing, and if anything's resolved. It wasn't clear to me what the protests were based on the Davis issue, and I thought there was an interpretation that you guys were not going to be using Davis, but apparently that's not accurate. It's just not going to be the primary access point.
Yes, sir.
So it sounds like we might still have some dispute, even if it's a primary, even if it's not a primary access point with some of the neighbors, just the fact that it's being used at all, which we can address at the hearing on the merits. Board members, I'm going to turn to anyone that wanted to speak on the continuance issue, but do you have any other questions for the applicant's representative?
David, is that secondary access primarily for fire? Is that the only reason?
No, I think we have to have two access points, but it will not be the primary. And there's a note in the staff report that, any of the delivery of the mobile homes must be through Melrose. Of course, we do agree to that.
Yeah, I was just thinking maybe a crash gate or something that wouldn't freely accessed, but could be accessed.
Okay.
We'll talk about it at the actual.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's good to get the scope of what we're dealing with so that we can prepare better and narrow down the issues that are in dispute. So, yeah, any other comments from board members? Okay. Cindy, did you have any individual, I'm sure you did have individuals signed up to speak other than the applicant on this request? And I'm not going to recognize them yet, but I just want to know if you had people signed up to speak.
Yes, sir, we had 2, and I see one of those on the line. Well, actually, they've left. No, she's still on the line. Robin Jones.
Okay. So this will go for anyone hoping to speak on this application, but it's only going to be commentary on the request for a continuance and not on the merits of the application. So is there anyone on the line using the raise your hand function on Zoom if you want to be heard? But is there anyone on the line that wanted to be heard on the continuance issue only, on whether this application should be continued or not, and not on the merits of the application? I'll wait a couple of moments. Okay, seeing none, board members, we have a motion to continue this as requested. I believe it was May 6th.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second to continue the application in case number 14843 to the May 6th meeting of the Board of Adjustment. Once you're able to, cast your votes. And the item's continued.
Thank you.
Thank you. Move on to the consent docket, and don't believe we have any matters on the consent docket. So we move to items requiring a separate vote.
All right, first item for public hearing is item 1, case 14840. It's an application for a special exception, Victoria and Kenneth Hunter, to allow lodging accommodations, home sharing at 3321 Northwest 22nd Street.
Okay, I thought I saw a Miss Hunter on the line. Oh, they're the Hunters. Okay. If you wanted to introduce yourself by name and address and present your application.
Hi, my name is Vicki Hunter, and this is my husband, Ken Hunter. Thank you very much for letting us speak today. Our request is for our home share location, or our second home location at 3321 Northwest 22nd Street. And I wasn't sure if you needed the address where we currently live when you were asking for the address that we're speaking about.
Yes, for the purposes of the record, we like to get the actual address. And for these, we like to know whether folks are coming in from out of town or whether they're local. So it helps for that purpose as well.
Okay. We live at 4 Sugar Creek Drive, Austin, Texas, 78746. This is a home that we bought at the end of last year as a second home. Our daughter and her family live 2 blocks over on 20th Street. And we were finding that they had a recent baby, and staying with them just got a little bit more crowded. And we decided to go ahead and buy this home to help us visit. And it's also used by our son-in-law's parents, who are not owners, but they visit frequently, just like we do. And what we were hoping to be able to do is Airbnb this home when we are not there. Our daughter and son-in-law are our eyes and ears in the neighborhood, and they keep an eye on the house for a multitude of reasons. They were crucial during the ice storm and the snowstorm, and they also move our garbage cans in and out as required. And they keep an eye on the yard. If we're not able to be there for the yard, then my son-in-law will mow the yard. They are definitely a local contact if there's a need for guests to be able to contact somebody locally. The house is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath house. We've limited the number of people, guests that can stay there to 6. There's a pull-out couch in the living room. And then we also have a portable crib in case there's a small child. It also has a detached garage in the back, and it has room for at least 4 cars off the street. But we really don't anticipate a lot of cars because it's really perfect for families, and that's what we're kind of hoping will find our house attractive. We are mindful of our neighbors. We want to make sure that we don't provide a venue that'll be troublesome for them at all. There's going to be no parties, no special events. We have the quiet hours as being after 10 p.m. and between 10 p.m. and 8 a.m. And there's absolutely no smoking of any kind, no illegal substances. We would have all these in our rules. And we do have security cameras on the outside of the property so that we can kind of keep an eye on what's going on. And we've installed everything that we need to make sure that we are in compliance with what needs to be in there in order to have guests, with additional fire alarms and carbon monoxide alarms. And we have a flood sensor, just those sort of things, first aid kit. And there is a basement, which isn't of course required, but that would be for shelter in case there needs to be sheltered, people to shelter. I don't know what else y'all would be interested in knowing, but that's basically the summary of what we've got planned for that property.
That's helpful. I think it benefits you that you'll have some connections in the community. You've got a fairly large driveway for that area, which helps an application like this. A lot of the disputes we see are related to parking on the street and that causing an issue in the neighborhood. And so it looks like that's not a problem for you. If you're agreeable to including, I mean, the condition that I particularly care about is that you advertise it as off-street parking only. As long as you do that, and a maximum of 6 people, I think, I can support the application, I think. Board members, questions or comments?
Nope, I'm on board. Just tell me how many years.
Yeah, so that was going to be my final question to you is the city council has said that we can grant these for up to 10 years, although we have never granted one for 10 years. And so generally when it's in a not as controversial area or application, we kind of have a 3 to 5 year range. And so did you have an idea of the time period that you were hoping to get?
We would love to have it for 5 years, but I guess the process would be in 3 years, that if everything is going well for everybody, that we would reapply. Is that how that would work?
Yeah, so once it expires, you'd reapply. You'd still need, I believe, a permit from the city every year. And then the special exception would last however long we grant that for. And so you'd come back in 3, 4, 5 years, whatever the board approves, and request to renew that if that was still how you wanted to use this property for whatever period of time seemed appropriate at that point. So,
well, that would work for us. We would prefer the 5 years so we wouldn't have to do this again, but we would be happy with 3.
You don't like coming in front of us?
You don't know how much I'm perspiring right now.
No, you did a great job. You have a great application. It had, normally we have a lot of questions for folks, but you have all the details in there. So it was a great application and you presented it well. I don't have anyone signed up to speak other than the applicant. Is there anyone on the line that wanted to speak on this application? Okay. Seeing none, board members, questions, comments, or a motion?
I will move to approve the special exception for case number 14840 on the grounds that it meets the requirements for a special exception for a period of 5 years.
Ah,
And then were you going to include the off-street parking and maximum?
I didn't think I needed to because they're in the application, but yeah, as noted in the application.
Okay, yeah, so they present that to us, but we can, sometimes we say, subject to all the conditions that they put in the application.
Yeah.
The only conditions I really thought needed to go with the special exception would be off-street parking and up to 6 people, that it be advertised as those 2 things. But you can certainly try to include all of those. I mean, some of them,
However you want to do it for the record.
Okay, I hesitate to just say everything that's in the application because there's a lot of kind of micromanaging here that I don't know that the board needs to do. Like check-in time, check-out time, I don't know that we need any of that stuff for our purposes, but the off-street parking and the up to 6 people, advertising it as those 2 things, I would want those in the special exception personally.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
I can second that. This is Kitty Asbury.
Okay. So we've got a motion and a second to approve the special exception in case number 14840 for the reason that it meets the statutory conditions for a special exception for a period of 5 years on the condition that the property will be advertised as having off-street parking only and up to 6 occupants. Once you're able to, cast your votes.
Member Ybarra,
Uh-oh, she looks frozen. She's
Yeah,
back.
mine is just saying waiting.
It sounds like we can hear you. So did you want to make a voice vote?
Yes, I'll vote in the affirmative.
Okay. Staff, if we can mark that down, the application is approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, item 2, it's case 14841. It's a special exception of Evangeline Bonzi to allow lodging accommodations home sharing at 1004 Northeast 28th Street.
Okay, is the applicant on the line?
I did see the applicant's phone number. She may have trouble *6ing to unmute.
Yeah, tell her *6.
Hello. Hello,
There she
I'm on
is.
the line. This is Evangeline.
Gotcha.
Hey, we can hear you if you just wanted to introduce yourself by name and address and present your application.
My name is Evangeline Bonzi, and the address is 1004 Northeast 28th Street, and I am a local. I live here in Norman, Oklahoma, and I have been a nurse for the past 17 years at OU Medical Center. In 2018, I decided to get out of nursing and do my own business. So I started flipping homes and doing hospitality homes. And 1004 is a home that I acquired a year ago, 2019 May, and gradually renovated it that it is livable now, and would like to use it for short-term rental. It's a 3-bedroom house that houses 6 people, and it has a loft with a sleep sofa and a living room with a sleep sofa. So my hope is to at least host 8 people total. There is 2 4-bathrooms. There is 2-car garage and a long driveway that is nicely paved for parking too. So it will park at least 6 cars total. And it is in a quiet neighborhood. It's close to Lincoln. And hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello? Okay. It's close to Lincoln. So I'm hoping that visitors coming to Oklahoma City, downtown area and all that will be able to utilize this. It's a short drive to all those areas, and it will be one of my businesses to hopefully get income out of and pay taxes on it. It's pretty quiet neighborhood, and I'm hoping that with the rules and regulations of all the websites that I plan on advertising on, their rules and regulations states that there will be no large events, and there will be no parties. So and all that will be printed out and posted in the house. And I have very good neighbors that keep an eye on the place too. So if anything that is illegal is done, they will surely notify me, and I'll be able to take action immediately. There is alarm system in the house. There is laundry in the house. There is I think all the basic necessities for somebody to feel at home, away from home, is provided.
Okay. Yeah, looking this up, at least the image was taken on Google Maps. I'm glad that someone went in there and fixed this place up. It looks much better than it did. So looks like it's being put to good use. How long of a period of time were you looking for? You probably heard our last application, and some of these areas, 3 to 5 years is pretty common. But how long were you looking to get?
At least 5 years, since it's my my business. It's part of my business now. So 5 to 10 years will be excellent. I heard you said you have never given anybody 10 years, but I'm hoping to be first if possible.
I think we're saving that one for someone who has had their second. You know, they've done it for a few years and they prove that there are no issues and everything goes smoothly. Then we might get a little bit longer.
Okay.
But we're a little hesitant
Yeah.
for now. Although someone's got to be first. So
Exactly.
if you get 5 years, it's probably not going to be you because we're not going to see you again for a while.
Okay.
But you may have heard the last application. Apparently, we like to add conditions that it won't be advertised as having on-street parking. So you advertise as off-street parking only, which you look like you have plenty of room to do here. And then for yours, a maximum of 8 people. That seems reasonable to me. But
Okay.
would that cause any problems with your business?
No, I think that would be fine.
Okay. Board members, any questions or comments?
No, not on my part.
Okay. And I don't have anyone signed up to speak, but I'll wait a couple of moments and ask if there's anyone
Okay.
on the line that wanted to be heard on this matter that's not the applicant. Hearing none. Board members, questions, comments, or a motion?
I'll move approval for 5 years with the condition that it be advertised as off-street parking only, and maximum of 8 people.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second to approve the application in case number 14841 for the reason it meets the statutory conditions for a special exception for a period of 5 years and on the condition that it be advertised as off-street parking only and up to 8 occupants at a time. Once you're able to, cast your votes. And it's approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you and good luck.
Thank you so much. Thanks. God bless. Bye-bye.
JJ,
You're
I think
muted.
you're on mute.
Very sorry. Item 3 is case 14838. It's a request of Moonlight ownership for a variance to the side yard setback in the C3 district located at 1400 Northwest 23rd Street.
Okay, is the applicant on the line?
I am. My name's Jeremy Meek, and I'm representing the owner, Dr. Cody Jewell. My address is 12817 Pond View Drive in Oklahoma City. And Dr. Jewell is a cardiologist at Heart South and was unable to attend. I'm representing Apollo Building Systems, and we are also the contractor building this facility.
Okay, if you want to just give us an overview.
Yes, this is the second HTO location for Oklahoma City. We just completed one at 11701 Southwestern, and we got this second location. This is a corporate design that has to meet corporate approval, and there is a requirement for a drive-through. This is they don't like me saying this, but it's basically like a Starbucks, but for tea. So it lives and dies by drive-through. With the requirement of it being up 5 foot off, within 10 foot of the street, we thought that meant just the main thoroughfare. We didn't understand that it also required it to be the side street. With it being up on both streets, it would not meet the ability to be used, and we would have to cancel everything and put the property back up for sale. So we went through UDC, passed everything there, and are coming before the Board of Adjustments today with a recommended approval from the UDC, and we appreciate you guys looking into this and seeing if we can change that side setback requirement. Got one more thing. The architect that designed this, this used to be a Mutt's hot dog stand, and we basically stayed with the same footprint and layout of the existing building that was there. And I'm sorry. Okay, there we go. And so it's not a big change from what we had and what's been there for many, many years.
Has that building been repaired, Mr. Jewell? Is it a new building?
This will be a brand new facility. The hot dog stand has been demolished.
Remember, it was destroyed. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Can you just talk a little bit about the, I mean, I think you mentioned it, but I guess your kind of argument is the drive-through is being considered for the setback requirement and not just the building. Is that accurate?
I guess I don't understand that question. What the best way I have to explain it is that we have to have a double queuing lane, and we have to be able to come around to the Douglas side of this facility with the drive-through. And if this building is up 10 foot off of Douglas and 10 foot off of 23rd, which is what the requirements state that it has to be, there's no drive-through or queuing ability that we had like 4 different designs done by the architect and tried to meet corporate approval, and it was denied. And this is the only design that has been approved, and it meets all the requirements of the Urban Design Committee, except for the side yard setback. So that's our main request, is to basically be able to move off of the side street, Douglas.
And JJ, does my question make sense to you? Is that kind of what's going on here? It's just that the drive-through lane is being considered for the setback purposes, and they kind of thought that it was going to be the building and didn't expect the drive-through to be considered.
It is actually the building wall
Yes.
that has to be within 10 feet of the property line.
Yes.
And by doing that, there's no room for a drive-through on the Douglas side there.
Okay.
I've had, and I know this is sidebar, but I've had several people, agree with me, and I won't state their names, but they work Oklahoma City, that this ordinance was probably designed to be main thoroughfares, and not be picked up on every side street as a 10-foot requirement also. And if you look at all the businesses, and I know it's not fair to say, well, they did it, they didn't have to do it. But if you look at all of the businesses along this corridor, they've all received this adjustment also, the majority of them.
Or maybe they're non-conforming or something and got grandfathered in or something.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But we definitely have to move the building more than 10 foot away to be able to get a drive-through to meet corporate approval for this facility.
Okay. Board members, do you have any questions or comments? I know when you mentioned kind of the Starbucks for tea, I immediately thought that my girlfriend's going to give all her money to your client.
Yes.
Over the next couple of years. So
I'm sure he will appreciate it. This is the one on Western's doing very well. This is an outfit out of Texas that's coming in, and we've got stores in Ardmore, the Village, one in Oklahoma City, getting ready to be Shawnee and Norman. So it's a very popular franchise, and it has no seating, no interior seating at all. So you go in, purchase your product, and leave. And that's why the drive-through is actually the busiest part of this business.
As far as the building, we're pretty much staying the same, right, as the previous use?
Yes.
Yeah, right. Okay.
The size is probably smaller without any of that indoor seating.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Kind of what I'm thinking.
But
any issue really.
Yeah, my kind of hesitation, and it's not really just for this application, but 23rd is already sort of a mess as it is. And we kind of dealt with this with the new Starbucks that is going in over there. But these things, I want them to be packed 24/7 so that the owners are successful, but that's going to mean more traffic on 23rd, using Douglas and 23rd, pulling in, pulling out. So I don't think that prevents the application from being approved, but just something we might want to keep an eye on.
It just looks like it's got plenty of room to me. I know there's a Starbucks that just went in on 23rd down by the highway. Sure.
I didn't hear the last part.
At that Starbucks, I think we approved it here down there on 23rd and Robinson.
Yeah, and it had a lot less space, to your point.
Right. That's what I was kind of comparing it to. So I'm good.
Yeah, this is a very big lot for this facility.
Is there anyone else on the line that wanted to speak on this application? Okay. Hearing none, board members, questions, comments, or a motion?
I'll move approval.
I'll second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second to approve the variance request in case number 14838 for the reason that it meets the statutory conditions for a variance. Once you're able to, cast your votes.
Member Yubara?
I'll have to voice vote again. I'm sorry. I'll vote in the affirmative.
Thank you.
And the application's approved.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Item number 4 is 14839. It's a request of D and Kathy Tucker for a variance to the rear yard setback in the R1 district located at 12200 Stone Mill Manor Court.
Okay, the applicant's on the line. I think I see them on the line, but they might be muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
You got me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is Brody Tucker with Modern Element Building Company, and also my mother, Kathy Tucker, on the line.
Okay. Yeah, you just wanted to give us an overview of this application?
Kathy, do you want to go ahead?
Yes, we're wanting to put in a pool, semi-smaller pool in the backyard. It's not very large, but we have a narrow backyard with it's gated with a wrought iron fence around it, and then there's a park that's between that is in the center of the development.
Yes.
And
so they back. I'm going to jump in. They back up to a common area, and I think they've only got maybe 18, 20 feet from their house to the back property line. With the 10-foot setback, it only leaves about 8 feet to put a pool in. And the goal of the pool is helping with therapy on my father's arthritis. And there's just not enough room to really put a pool in without infringing on the setback a little bit. And they have talked to the neighbors around, as well as the developer, and there's no objections that we know of from that standpoint.
And there are multiple pools. There's probably 4 pools in this area, with a few more coming in.
Are they all adjacent to the park?
One of them is.
The neighbor is, yeah. Like directly next door, the neighbor to the north is adjacent to the park with a pool in their backyard.
And do you know if they needed a variance for that, or?
I don't think their home was built. Our home was built before we moved here. Their home was built. They built their home.
And to answer their question, their home does not, I believe, encroach into the backyard as much as what the subject property does. So the subject property just has very little backyard left to deal with as far as the pool area. But to answer the question directly, I don't think they had to get a variance for their pool.
Okay. Just one thing we like to keep an eye on is if we grant one, is the whole neighborhood going to come here and try to get a variance?
Sure.
Or maybe they don't need to because of where that home is built, where their home is built.
Right. Right.
Or they can maybe construct it in a way, it looks like, at least what I'm seeing, there might be some undeveloped properties, so maybe they can construct it in a way that they don't need that variance. Yeah, I think what helps here is just backing up to that common area and not another neighbor. I think that helps. Board
Yeah,
members,
and also there are no utilities. Sorry to interrupt, but there's no utilities back there of any kind. It's just simply a easement, obviously.
Okay.
And our developer has just asked us, of course, with the freeze, they lost lots of bushes and things in the common area, and he's asked us to just put some bushes along the fence, and we are happy and have told him, we're happy to do that.
Yeah, I know there are a couple of board members that kind of prefer these to be site proof, or at least talk about whether they're site proof.
He was aside on it. He just thought it would be nice to get some of the bushes and trees back in that we lost. And I know he has intentions of putting them back in himself.
Yep. Mom, she was just saying, he was saying that there's members on the design review or their adjustment board that prefer site proofing.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Which is putting bushes in. Yeah.
Okay. I apologize.
That's okay.
Kind of on that note or any other note, board members, do you have any questions or comments of the applicant? Is there any interest in conditioning it? And I don't have a strong opinion either way, but conditioning it on putting bushes. I know they said there was a wrought iron fence, but I assume that's not site proof. So is there any interest in requiring them to put those bushes there, or how does the board feel about that?
I can go either way. There's bushes on the other side of the fence or landscaping.
Yeah,
So
that's what I was gonna say too. And plus, the other guy said he was gonna do it if they don't.
if it was my pool and it's right there by the walking access, I'd probably kind of screen it a little bit just for myself. But,
sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, a 5 foot buffer for sure. Landscape buffer, make that 5 foot that you got on your setback as your landscape.
Excellent.
Is there anyone on the line that wanted to speak on this application other than the applicant? Okay. Hearing none, board members, questions, comments, or a motion?
Move approval of case number 14839 for the reasons that it meets the statutory requirements for a variance.
I'll second.
Okay. Got a motion and a second to approve the variance request in case number 14839 for the reason that it meets the statutory conditions for a variance. When you're able to, cast your votes.
There seems to be no shortage of reasons to have
Member Privet,
Oh, sorry.
thank you.
And it's approved.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Y'all have a great afternoon.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.
The next item on the agenda was continued, and that moves us to additional items. Board members or anyone on the line have any additional items? Okay. Communications and board reports, there's nothing on the agenda. Citizens to be heard. Is there anyone on the line that was hoping to be heard on an issue? Okay. Hearing none, other business, board members or staff? Hearing none, we are adjourned.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.